Welcome back to the weekly download. We're your hosts,
Elena Birkenstock.
and Claire Watrous, and we're here with
Heath Davis.
So can you just tell us a little bit about Scouts and your experience?
So I started Scouts back in the first grade when I was. It's actually it was a funny story on how I started. I was walking my dog with my dad, and he was going on about something about Scouts, and he's like, "Oh, I want to do that too." And he told me about the rank of eagle, and I'm like, I had my mind set on it since pretty much first grade, and so ever since then I started doing that. So I've been in Cub Scouts since first grade to fifth grade, and then I've been in Boy Scouts from fifth grade to 10th grade. So I've been here 5.5 years in Scouts.
Can you explain a little bit about what Scouts is?
So Scouts is what it is originally started as was a group of people from England, right? Yeah, England. And this guy, Baden Powell, took them out and started having them do tasks and requirements and help them kids get in the outdoors and pretty much to show leadership skills. And then as it progressed, they started adding ranks and different organizations within Scouts as Order the Arrow, NYLT, then High Adventures as well as they get along into it. And so I'm also a member of the OA, which is essentially the honor society of Scouts. It's someone who you look up to. It's not a popularity contest. It's someone who you always want to camp with, hang out with, someone who's always there for you, who's someone who's like a big brother or a mentor, essentially. And then there's 3 steps of it. There's member, brotherhood, and vigil. So
Ordeal, brother.
ordeal, yeah. So ordeal is you're voted on by your troop members, and essentially you are like the troop recognizes you as you should be in the OA, you should be in the honor society, and then the brotherhood is like you're making that choice on your own to be a part of it, and then vigil is voted on by your OA members, saying you're actually worth it, which is the vigil is the highest rank.
What troop are you a part of?
121 out of Bloomington, Indiana.
Okay. And then you are an Eagle Scout, correct?
Correct.
So what do you think the true purpose of Scouts is today?
Today, it's to help others and better the community and giving back to the community.
Do you think Scouts is still relevant for teens in today's world? Why or why not?
I think, yes, it should be, because it gives the kids the opportunity to go experience the outdoors, go experience first aid, leadership skills, business management, a bunch of requirements that a lot of schools don't teach nowadays.
What makes it such a great leadership experience?
So it's really a hands-on. It really all depends on your troop. I got blessed with my troop on having multiple different leaders teach me at the same time. And so sometimes you have to take it upon yourself as well, depending on the troop. But you'll get put in leadership positions to really test the waters and find out. But there's also courses as well that you can go to. There's National Youth Leadership Training, which some places hold. It's a leadership experience and training that they teach you about real-world scenarios and first-hand experiences.
So can you explain what a troop is?
So a troop is pretty much it's like a group of people, essentially. It's pretty much like it's like a team when you think of it like a sports team. Essentially, it's kind of the same thing. You have your leaders, similar to your coaches, and then you got the members, the troop members, which is the same as the players and the teammates. Something, if that makes sense.
Can you explain the different leadership positions? So I know there's senior patrol leader, assistant senior patrol leader. Can you explain what each of them do?
So senior patrol leader is the kid who runs the troop, who runs the meeting. He sits down with the he or she sits down with the scoutmaster and talks about the plans for the meeting, what he wants to progress, and where he sees the troop now and where he wants to see the troop in 6 months or wherever his term ends. And then assistant senior patrol leader is kind of like the vice president. They assist the senior patrol leader when they need them to, and they're there to fill in for the senior patrol leader if the senior patrol leader is out, or they also help run the meetings as well. And then that breaks down into, depending on how big the troop is, it breaks down into patrol leaders. And the patrol leader is a kid. He or she is in command or in charge of 6 to 8 scouts, and then and he or she leads them in their patrol activities. And when they go camping, it's split off, and you camp with your patrols, and then you have an assistant patrol leader who assists the patrol leader, just like the senior patrol leader.
So what's your position in your troop?
So it was senior patrol leader, but that was 2 years ago, and then I stopped. I got Eagle, and then I stopped coming. I got invited to be assistant scoutmaster, or I got invited to be what's it called?
Junior assistant
Yeah,
scoutmaster.
junior senior scoutmaster, but I turned it down because I was occupied with other things. I wanted to get back into my hobbies, but now Maggie is our assistant junior scoutmaster, or whatever it's called.
What other positions have you held in your scout troop? That's probably
That's a lot of them. I've held patrol leader, assistant patrol leader, quartermaster multiple times. I've assistant senior patrol leader, and then also senior patrol leader as well.
Can you explain what a quartermaster is?
So a quartermaster is the person who is in charge of the gear, who lends out of the troop. So they pretty much keep inventory and know what is like lent out. They manage a lot of storage. So if you have a room, so essentially what they do is you have a room of equipment like troop gear, camping tents, stoves, patrol boxes, all that kinds of stuff. He manages what's get taken out, what's get put back in, the quality of that, and what damages need to be done. And he goes to the adults and tells if something's broken, he goes to the adults to have it get fixed.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm going backwards. What do you do in your troop? Like, not you specifically, but like, what does the troop do?
Very broad question, but it's fair. It's
I
a
have
fair
broad
question.
information.
It's fair enough. Essentially, the main goal of scouts is to better the person, so they're a better person going out into the world to help other people. It doesn't, and then another goal is also to get the person to Eagle, and it's also I get the motto and the thing confused all the time. It's do a good turn daily, which is always make an effort to help at least one person to do one good thing a day. And then there's be prepared, which is be prepared for every situation in life, whether that may be a job interview and dressing up properly, or going into a test mentally prepared, or going out into the woods camping and having all your correct gear.
How do you think scouts helps to shape a person's character, and how do you think that scouts helps to prepare them for the world?
So it really depends on the troop, because sometimes you can have a really bad troop, and other times you can have a really great troop. I've seen, especially on my troop, there was this one kid. He came in super loud, super rowdy, would not be sitting down. He'd be screaming all kinds of stuff. He'd be screaming 6, 7, every kind of thing you can think of, banging his head on the table. He would be off the walls, had a bunch of energy. And now when I go back and see him, he's focused. He has the goal. He wants to get Eagle. And it really betters a person completely. And it's really just a family building opportunity as well. You build so many relationships. I have so many connections out of it. My Eagle project that I did for Owen County, I can talk about that later. The guy who helped excavate my project was also an Eagle Scout out of our troop. So it really helps to have a lot of connections, and you get to know a lot of people. And then there's also a teacher down at Hoosier Hills, one of the fire scientists, is also from 121 as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's something that Scouts teaches you that people wouldn't notice right away?
Patience. So I've taught at the summer camp before, and I've also taught when I wasn't hired. Essentially, I've been helping out. I just went there and helped. And so there's a thing called Eagle Quest. So essentially, you're helping the younger kids get on their way to Eagle. And you do a lot of small, very simple requirements, like tying knots, starting fires. And there are some kids who have more challenges with others. And you have to learn to be patient, to sit there and walk them through. And every kid's different. Some kids, you can just be blunt with them. That's how they want to hear it. They want to be blunt when they mess up. Other kids, you have to be a little bit more gentler with them. And it's like, oh, it's okay. And like coach them through and hold their hand. But the end goal, you want to be able to teach them to where they can teach someone else how to do it. It also teaches you how to be a gentleman and politeness as well. It's definitely taught me, because I've landed a lot of jobs and opportunities. When people hear I'm an Eagle Scout, they normally perk up about it a lot of times, because they know there's a lot of weight tied to the name Eagle Scout and rank tied to the Eagle Scout. So when someone hears it, they have a lot higher expectations from you, but they know that they're going to expect great things out of you if you're able to hold up to the standards that scouts are held at.
When did you first start seeing yourself as a leader rather than just a scout or a participant?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think of a certain time. I think it would have to be around my 8th grade year, whenever I was senior patrol leader, and around that time because I had life right then, and so I started helping out more. And because once you get to the higher ranks on your way to Eagle, there's not a lot of things you can work on. So you just gotta, sometimes you step back, and then the adults also have you help in and coach things and lead things as well. I've been leading acts and fire safety for a while now.
Can we go through each of the ranks really fast?
Yeah, so the first rank you start out as, you have to earn, you come into scouts rankless, and then you go scout, tenderfoot, second class, first class, star, life, eagle.
So each level, you start out without having a rank, and then the scout level is the basic, everyday, not tying, basic first aid, things like that. Then they get harder as you go up.
What would you say the difference about being in charge versus actually leading is?
In charge, it's more so, I see it as a way of like when you're in charge, you just have the plans out in front of you, and you pretty much describe the end goal, and you're like, I don't care how it gets done, that needs to happen. So when you're in charge, you just make the end goal. Not all the times you make the steps, but sometimes you pretty much, in basic terms, person in charge will make the end goal. Person leading will help everyone else and the people below them get to that end goal. And it might take 30 steps one way, 5 steps the other, but as long as you get to the end goal, pretty much that's what a leader does. They help the person they're leading, but they're also not. There's many different types of leadership. Sometimes there's people who just stand back, tell them what to do, and show them how to. Or then there's other times there are people who are down in the trenches with them doing the tasks as well, and there's a mix of both.
Can you talk about a person that has influenced your leadership style or has helped you create a better leadership, like sense of leadership?
That one's pretty easy. Cooper. He graduated here a while back, but he's also been my mentor as well throughout life. As soon as I met him, we just kind of clicked, and we've been best buds ever since. He's been one of my mentors multiple times. He's like an older brother to me, and he's just always been there for me through thick and thin of it. And I've been there for him as well, especially during our challenging times with our troop.
So Scouts has changed a lot over the years. There have been many amendments to who is allowed in Scouts. Different rules have changed. Can you talk a little bit about the changes that stand out the most and what affects you the most and your opinions on that?
So obviously the big one is girls being let into Boy Scouts. Essentially what it is, it was back in 2019, the Scouts and board of whatever they're called decided to let Girl Scouts into Boy Scouts and so that where they can earn the rank of Eagle. Essentially what they were doing is putting them in venturing crews. And that's a whole different thing. There's so many levels of Scouts. It's actually crazy. There's Sea Scouts, Venturing Scouts, and Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts is on land and pretty much United States and everything that's inland. Venturing Scouts is for people from
18
to 21.
Well, I thought you could be in it once you're 16, but
Yeah.
It's typically for 18 to 21.
It's normally 18 to 21. It's most of the time it's a lot of people. It's most of the time very small group of people, and then there's also Sea Scouts, which is like water stuff, a lot of base. It's really, I don't know where they are. I remember seeing about it. Can't remember where they are. I did get invited to join one though. I thought about doing it, but it would have been up in Nitty. What was the question again?
What are the changes that have stood out to you the most?
Oh, stood out. Obviously, girls being able to join Scouts. That one was very, very tense when we first, because I was on the PLC when they were coming over, and we had the PLC meeting. we had a PLC meeting, which is a leadership meeting for all the positions. And so we're sitting down with our senior scoutmaster, and he's like, "Okay, I have a scoutmaster, Jen, who would like to has a group of girls who's interested in joining scouts." And we're all sitting there, and it's very, very tense because none of us want. It was very confusing and very hard to understand because we had always been brothers, and we were very confused for what it was like to have a sister troop. And so when it first started out, it was very tense. It was very awkward, to say the least, because a lot of people, it felt hard to interweave and because it almost felt like two different groups and cultures, essentially, like intertwining. So it felt very stalemate-ish, if that makes sense. There was a very there was like a line. It was like very weird. But then once everyone was welcome, obviously. Let me make that clear. Everyone was welcome when they first came in and very open. It was very awkward at first because change is very awkward to some people. But as the years went on, it definitely got better and people started easing into it. And now Jen is now our scoutmaster because people stepped down and because they wanted to move on with their lives. And so she was also my Eagle mentor as well. And so she helped me get Eagle Scout. So that was also a really great thing that ended up working out of it. She became my Eagle mentor and a person who I look up to now. And it was just very awkward. And now hopefully we're having first girl Eagle out of that as well.
How long have girls been allowed to join scouts?
2019. Well,
That's a difficult question.
Yeah.
So, scouting in general, like the whole program itself.
women have always been a part of scouts.
Yes.
Whether you think of it or not. Whether if they've been allowed to be in the tan uniforms, in the uniforms, and earn the rank of Eagle. They've been helping out in so many ways. There are people who are lifeguards who run a lot of things behind the scenes as well. A lot of wives and parents as well. I know definitely help, especially my Cub Scout troop. There was a lot of women who ran stuff and leadership positions behind the scenes as well.
I guess my question is, when did all of this take place?
2019.
2019.
So, youth, female, were allowed to participate in scouting in 2019. Does that make sense?
To earn the rank of Eagle.
To earn the rank of Eagle.
Because I'm pretty sure, weren't they allowed to be infantry scouts?
Yes. There's a whole thing.
Okay, wait, I have another question.
Uh-huh.
You do scouts.
Yes, I do.
You guys are not in the same troop.
No, we are
Nope.
not. I am in troop 1148 because there are multiple troops in Bloomington, and that was the one that
There's two, right?
there's two.
Yeah.
So how does it get chosen which one you join?
So I chose which one I joined.
Okay.
So my mother found Julie, who was our scoutmaster, was talking about there being a female troop nearby, and that's how I joined. Was my mom knew her. I didn't know that there was a different troop even until I was 3 years into it for quite a while. I just didn't know that there were other troops in Bloomington. I knew about the Bedford troop.
Where does Girl Scouts fit into this?
Essentially, they don't. So, Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts are very two different things.
Yep.
There's Girl Scouts still promotes leadership and still promotes the qualities and the leadership skills of Boy Scouts. That's the most similar thing they have. But the difference is Boy Scouts is more outdoors. You have more. I'm saying this from my side of the story because I've never been in Girl Scouts. I say it. There's more challenging on the outdoors part than there is on the other thing. They both have the same quote unquote similar rank to Eagle. Gold Star is what I'm sure it's called.
Gold Award, but yeah.
Yeah, that as well. There's patches you can earn. You're both selling stuff and fundraising. You're both doing a big project at the end that betters the community.
So I'm both. And the difference between Girl Scouts and Scouts BSA or whatever it's called now, I don't really know. But Girl Scouts, your rank, so to speak, is based off of your grade level. So if you are a kindergarten through, I want to say first grader, you are a daisy, which is what they're called. And then you move up to brownies, juniors, cadets, and ambassadors. And you earn patches in each of the groups. I'm a cadet. I might be an ambassador now. I'm not sure. I might have bridged over. But You can choose to do the projects that are bronze award, silver award, and gold award. You are not required, and they're not too popular anymore. Now people tend to use it for arts and crafts mostly, from what I've seen. And it's just like a kind of playdate thing. It depends on who your troop is, and it depends on who runs your troop. Similar to Boy Scouts, it all just depends.
And it also depends on what your goals are. Like, I know people who they join Scouts and they're just there to have fun, just there to go on camping trips. And then they turn 15 or 16, or in some cases 17. And they're like, I want to get Eagle. And so then the adults have to rush and help them to get Eagle very quickly, because once you turn 18, you cannot get Eagle unless you have an extension, which those are very hard to get unless you have certain circumstances. Like, say, if council messes up on the dates, or if you have a disability or something that sets you back to where you can get Eagle and you just need a little bit more time.
How common would you say it is to be a Scout and a Girl Scout?
Not. It is very rare. I've met maybe 2 other people. One that I know of is Maggie. Maggie and I did Girl Scouts a long time together, and that's how I know her. And then I found out that she was in Scouts too. Like, I had no clue. When you're in the different groups, you don't talk about the other group. You don't talk about the fact that you're in Girl Scouts when you're in Boy Scouts. Like, you just don't. It's kind of seen as a little bit of a rivalry, but not really. They're just 2 different experiences, so they don't really correlate. And so they aren't really put into conversations together.
It's not really a rivalry anymore as much as it used to be stereotyped as rivalry, because it was always, this goes back to like boys versus girls and stuff like that. But now that girls are in Scouts, it's like, no one really bats an eye at it. It's like, if you're in Girl Scouts, cool. It's like, if you're going out of your way, it's like, okay.
So I know, like, we talk about what you do in Scouts, but
Yes.
I've never heard you talk about Girl Scouts.
I personally am not very active anymore, because when our troop leader left and she went to Wisconsin, so we do have a troop still, but it is very online, and so we don't really do much camping anymore, which kind of sucks. So the reason I talk about Boy Scouts more is because I have weekly meetings. Every Wednesday I go to a meeting. Every Wednesday I'm with that group.
Okay.
I've been so distant from Scouts because of swim right now. It's been back. I went back for the first time in a while.
It's something.
It's a commitment.
Can you talk a little bit about the community that Scouts builds and how that has affected your life?
So I think it's definitely saved my life as well. It's more so, like, it's very, very family kind of way, and it's more so like, I don't know what training it was, but it really exposed a lot of vulnerability for people that have other stuff going on in their lives. I think it might have been an NYLT. We stood in the circle and we closed our eyes and we took a step forward. It's like, take a step forward if you have problems at home. People step forward and you look up and you see a lot of people actually do have problems at home. But at Scouts, Scouts is the only time people can get away from all that and meet people and become family and build friendships and connections. You get to know a lot of people. You get to help a lot of people. I know with Cooper especially, he's definitely helped me with mental health as well. And so that's why he's one of my best buddies, is because he got me through a bunch of dark times in my life. So I know that's also the same with, I've seen it happen at Scout Camp. I've seen it happen with other people as well. I've had Scouts pull me aside when I'm teaching and come talk to me later, and we're talking about mental health. I've done it at church camp as well. I've had other people pull me aside, even if I'm not going out of my way. But I'm also sometimes, there are Scouts who need help, and I will go out of my way to make sure they feel seen, because everyone deserves someone to talk to, no matter who you are, what you come from, no matter your background. I believe you always deserve to have a friend, no matter how badly that might. So yeah, I think everyone deserves a friend, whether that be a friend from another state, a pen pal, a best buddy, or someone who just checks in on you regularly. I believe you should always have someone to talk to, especially about mental health, because I know there's been because everyone's teens there as well, and I know there's definitely mental health problems that happen there.
Can you talk a little bit about Do you think that the achievements and the accomplishments are more worth it in scouting, or do you think that it is the friendship and the families that you create?
I'm gonna have to say both. I'm gonna have to split hairs with that one because the achievements will teach you life lessons. Same with family. The family comes with life lessons as well, and so I think a lot of people, because there's a lot of lessons and a lot of merit badges, as you obviously know, that come with the hardships. Because there's world history, the world history ones you have to learn about. There's society ones you have to learn about, and understanding bullying and whatnot, which is also the newest Eagle merit badge required. The citizenship in society. It's a very, very weird one to understand. You have to be very mature. I would say you have to be mature to understand that one because you talk about bullying, harassment, racism as well. Very sensitive topics to some people. And so I think you definitely learn a lot of life lessons out of those. But you also, I think for me, I've learned a lot more lessons out of the family part than I have the awards and achievement because you feel when you're doing the awards and achievement, it feels like you're doing it like schoolwork. And for some kids, it doesn't work well if you're just doing schoolwork. You're not learning a lot of stuff out of it. But I feel like the family, there's lessons tied behind it. If you fall, someone's there to pick you up.
So you've talked a lot about how the other kids in your troop have affected it, but what role do the adult leaders play in shaping your experience?
Almost everything. Everything money wise, financially wise, trip planning wise. Everything they do is behind the scenes. It is. They do not get the recognition they deserve. There's the treasurer position who holds the accountability of money, the scoutmaster who runs the meetings and plans the events and has to deal with the legal things as well. They have to deal with the responsibilities of finding an event, finding where to camp, or calling ahead to reserve a camping spot, and dealing with a bunch of other things that goes behind the scenes. And they deal with every little problem that happens. Like if I may know some of the problems that happens on, but they know near 80% of the problems that has happened.
So we're going to talk a little bit about your Eagle project.
Okay.
Can you explain the problem that you were, or like the issue that you were trying to solve?
So it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was an issue, but it was giving back when there was a part that was missing to better enhance, I guess is the word. So I grew up going to Boys and Girls Club, and they gave me so much. They gave me friends. I don't keep in contact with them anymore, sadly, but they helped my parents out. They helped me out. They helped a lot of people out. And once I got Eagle, I was thinking of projects to do. And so I called them, and then a lot of our troop is well connected with Bloomington Girls Club. We had one guy build a rock wall out of Camp Rock. We've had garden beds. I'm pretty sure some garden beds and picnic tables have been done for them as well. So I called them. We got in contact, and then there was kind of this dead area when what happened, and then I reached back out again, and then they were actually opening up a new Boys and Girls Club in Owen County, out by Spencer, and so I go out there, and I built a goggle ball pit, which is essentially it's very popular in the scouting community, as some might know, and it's very popular in some places of the United States, and so I wanted to bring something that I fell in love with at Scouts back to the community. And so they didn't have a playground or anything. So I built a goggle ball pit with a drainage system underneath, which that one took a lot longer. And there was a lot more planning and hours and preparation that went into it.
Can you explain a little bit about that process of starting your project and all of the work that goes behind that?
So there's 3 parts of the project if you're going according to the paperwork. There's the planning, which you have to talk to the adults and be determined, like, okay, I want to earn my Eagle. And so you talk to the adults, you figure out who's going to mentor you and who's going to walk alongside you and help you with this project. And then you fill out this packet. It's a lot of paperwork to get done, why you want to do the project. And there's a lot of rules you have to follow as well. It has to be a nonprofit organization. Someone who can't be profiting off of this for money-wise and selling. And so you have to get the project and plan approved by the adult committee. And then you have to you can either go get the material donated, which I was lucky enough to have. I got the mulch, the stone, the drainage system, all the wood donated. I think may have had to pay for the drainage system, but that was about it. It was very, very low expense. Other people sometimes pay it all out of pocket. Other people have it all donated. It just depends. And so then you get the project done, and then you have the paperwork after you have to do, which that I took a long time on. It is a long thing to do, and it took me a while to do. But that pretty much talks about all the hours that went into it, who all helped, plans you had to parts of the plan you had to change, and everything like that.
Is there a number of hours that is required for it? Or, like, what are some of the requirements that you have to have for this project?
It has to be a nonprofit organization, essentially. It can't be, like, profitable off of someone. There's not a set amount of hours you have to have on it. I'm trying to think. I think for my rule, I wanted to say I didn't want to do, like, an easy project. I wanted to do something that was challenged and helped the community, not like a food drive kind of thing, but something that actually gave back to the community, something that someone else really couldn't do, but it was, like, really set in stone that it was an eco project, not so much of like a food donation or donations like that. I don't see those as eco projects. I see them as just a cheap way around it.
Can you explain the point of an Eagle project?
What do you mean? Like, why we do it?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much one of the reasons I did it was to give back to the community, because everyone around me has helped me so much in my day-to-day basis, whether that be mental health, scouts, Boys and Girls Club, helping my parents. It's an essentially of giving back to the community and showing that you're, like, I'm here to help. I'm going to hold myself to a higher standards. I'm giving back to the community. It's essentially what it is the point of an Eagle project. And it's really to set you above the rest, because, I don't know, there's a number that's, like, a lot of scouts don't end up getting Eagle. It's like a top, I don't know, whatever the percentage is, but it's a very low number of people who get Eagle. And so it really sets you above the rest.
If you could do the project again, is there anything that you would go back and do differently or change?
I think what my mom would do is not build a gaga ball pit, because that took way too long. We had to redo a drainage system and also check where the water lines are. The water lines were cut off, but we ended up hitting a water line on accident that was already there on the property, but thankfully it had already been shut off. And so we had to go get a piece of pipe to go refit it, rethread it, put everything back on. So that definitely delayed us, and that was pretty much about the only thing I would change. But everything else was a learning process. Another thing I did want to do was probably doing something with nature. Like, if I built I know there's one who maybe building a bridge. I think that would be pretty cool. All right, that's what you're doing?
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Can you talk about how you get the help for such a big project? How you find the people, find the materials, find everything?
So when you have an Eagle mentor, they help you with, like, I needed, obviously, wood and lumber, so there were places that I went to go look. First, I went to Home Depot. They said they offered it to me at stock price and or whatever they buy it at. So then I was like, that's still going to cost me way too much money. So I go around places and find out. Well, first off, the Eagle mentor would say, what do you need? What things do you need? And then you go places and ask for donations and explain what you're doing and why you're doing it. And so then you would get the wood. I ended up getting all my wood at Bender Lumber over by Evansville. And my dad had connections with the guy who worked there because they were in the Masons and together. And so then I went there, and then I just asked, and I explained everything I need. So I obviously had to draw up all the dimensions as well. And then, then after you get all the things, then you have to have the plan, and you pretty much have to make, like, a cooking list on, like, what goes where, how it goes where, and then you pretty much have to have an assembly line, an assembly team. Especially with my project, I broke people off into small groups and have them build each side of the wall and each section of the wall. And then we also ended up building benches as well. So they were movable benches. They were just like little seats for the kids to sit on and wait. We had to build those. We had to redesign them a couple times. And we have a guy, Brad, who is a handyman essentially. The best way I can put it. He does hobbies, wood carving, chainsaw art. I'm pretty sure he does a lot of stuff with wood and outdoors as well. And then so we had to redesign the benches, and then after everything gets set up, we had to dig. We had to excavate it out, which that's where Cole Jones comes into play, and he did my stuff for a very low cost. We had to pay him just for fuel, and he did it that because I think that project would cost like roughly $5,000 to do completely if we paid all for ourselves. We had the excavating, all the wood and lumber. So I think it was coming out to a very high price, and then also adults as well would bring their saws as well because we bought everything. We'd have 6-foot boards, and we bought 12-foot boards, so we cut them in half, and we cut everything to the right dimensions. So a lot of scouts and a lot of adults help bring to make sure this project is done possible. Because if not, I would probably still be working on it sawing right now.
Is there ever a moment when you thought of quitting or just like not returning, and what made you come back?
There was definitely a moment I just wanted to stop working on it because, or it wasn't so much of stop working on it, it was always, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll just do it tomorrow. And just pushing it off and pushing it off and pushing it off. And there's a lot of scouts who do that, and then they never get the chance of getting Eagle. And I've talked to people in my life who say, I regret not getting Eagle. And so then my dad also was a huge contributor to keeping me through this. He's always, it's low-hanging fruit. And he would help me when it was time to push me. And then he was also there just as a father and just being there for me and when I needed it.
Why did you decide you wanted to become an Eagle Scout?
It was really just to be like my dad. Because I saw the picture and, like, I want to get the award. And then also, that was my goal when I was, like, in first grade. I just wanted to be like him. And so then, because of how he is as a man and how he is as a person, he was a great role model. He still is. He still is a great model. He's a great father figure. He's still a great mentor to a lot of people, to a lot of me. And so that was the main reason why when I was younger. But as I progressed and as I got it, I saw it as an opportunity to help people. It got me a lot more connections to help more and more people.
How has scouting shaped who you are today?
I think scouting and swim as well have both shaped me as a man I am today, as a gentleman who I am today. It keeps me very respectful and polite because I remember there was a time in my life I was not that. I was very childish, to say the least. I was very immature. I was very unrespectful. I was very not the great person I am today. I had my moments. I still sometimes have my moments because, yes, I am still a child. I'm still under 18. But I think when I was growing up, it was more I had my mature moments. Now I just have my immature moments. And it's definitely shaped me. It's kept me accountable in things. It keeps me responsible for things. Keeps me being a gentleman, always lifting my teammates up no matter what. And that's also the same with if I see someone else from another troop, another team, I'm always there to help, and I'm proud of what they do because I understand the struggle that they're going through because it is a difficult task, whether it become swimming, whether it's scouts as well, because getting Eagle is definitely harder on some people than it is on others.
Can you talk a little bit about the opportunities that Scouts provides? So there are some opportunities like high adventures or other things like that.
Oh,
Can you
there's
talk
so
a little
much
bit
fun.
about your experience with those?
Well, there's so many opportunities. There's like thousands, if I'm being honest. There's thousands upon thousands. There's summer camps. There's 2 in India. There's actually technically there's so many in Indiana. There's one out on Lake Monroe, Randsburg. There's one down at Maumee in the town of Maumee, which is where I've worked before. It's great. Those are the 2 big scout camps here as well. There's Peterloon. There's Northern Tier. There's Philmont. There's Sea Base. There's Summit. There's National Convention is what it's called.
National Jamboree,
National Jamboree. There's the Boundary Waters as well. Same thing as Northern Tier. There's one down in Louisiana, which I'm trying to go do. It's,
Swamp Base.
Yes,
I've heard about that one.
It's so much fun. But you have to be 18 to go, sadly. And so that's where me and my dad are trying to go. And hopefully they'll make it they're considering it to be a true high adventure. But hopefully. So the high adventures I've gone on are Northern Tier and Philmont, and I'm going to Sea Base this summer. And so Northern Tier was definitely the hardest one by far. Um,
Can you explain where that
okay.
is, the experience is?
Northern Tier is boundary water, so you're canoeing, backpacking, and portaging in Canada and Northern America as well. And so you go up there, you can stay up there for 7, 10, or 14 days are the treks. And my crew decided to do the 14-day one. And so we're up there for 14 days in boundary waters. We're canoeing, we're portaging, we're doing all kinds of things. We're having a blast. There's no cell service up there whatsoever. You're just there with nature. We also ran into a moose as well.
Dude, that's so cool.
That was not cool. I was scared for my life because it was a mother moose and her baby. So
Okay,
that was.
never mind.
There's I think one crew also ran into a bear, but thankfully it wasn't our troop. And it really changes you because when you go in, I wasn't afraid of the water essentially, but I was tired of I didn't want to get my feet wet essentially, and you can't like just slam the canoes in the land and hop out dry. You have to get out in like knee deep water, pull the boats around, and pick them off on your shoulders and hike a mile and a half. And so then there was that, and then you also have to go check the trails and make sure the maps are right because if not, you're gonna get lost.
Oh my gosh.
We didn't get the map was read wrong. There wasn't enough water where it was supposed to be, so we ended up spending about an hour and a half just where we weren't supposed to be. We were at the right spot, map was right, we just weren't. There wasn't enough water for us to canoe, and then there was another time where after we got through that little thing, we thought, okay, we're gonna start checking the trails now. So they send me and another guy out because we have to have the buddy system and whatnot, liability reasons, which that's a whole nother story and podcast if you want about and so then I go out and I hear this like moose sound. I'm like, what the heck? And I couldn't see anything because it was in the woods and it was dark, or it wasn't like nighttime, but I couldn't see where it was coming from. And I'm like, heck no. And I bolt the other direction, and then the other people who were down the trail ended up seeing the baby moose, so thankfully they did not get run into the mother.
Can you talk a little bit about your Philmont experience? Oh, I forgot the name. That's embarrassing.
I thought you've heard the stories about what happened at Philmont.
I wanna know more.
So Philmont is a trek and you're hiking out at New Mexico Scout Ranch in Cimarron, New Mexico. It is such a fun time to do. I think we did run into you guys. As we were leaving, we ran into them as they were departing. It was very funny to run into you guys, especially because we saw Dr. Freeze, and that was one of the highlights of my week because we just got back. And so what it is you're hiking out there for however long you decide. There's things as well. There's people dressed up in character along the trail who tell you about the history, and you get to talk. And these people are like so nice. They're the sweetest people ever. I got a job opportunity out there. Some guy wanted me to come back and work with them. I've also heard they also wanted me to do ranch hands, but I'm not going to do that. I don't have time because I want to get my Triple Crown, which is all 3. So I'm getting that next summer. And so then we hiked, and we've had a lot of fun stories about there. I was the crew leader at the time, and we were looking for water. This is a funny story. There's a lot of stuff we did up there. I think we got a time for maybe a couple. But we were looking for water. We get stuck at a well, and we stopped there. And I forgot in my backpack, I had a list of where all the water spots were on our thing. And so we were sitting there waiting for the wind to turn the turbine to get water out. And I didn't realize right over the ridge was an electric water pump. And so we were sitting there, and we also brought an electric battery pack. And so I was like, when 14s are very bored in the wilderness and we just want to mess around, we will sit there and because it was a crankable battery pack, and we will sit there for hours on end, cranking the battery pack to charge our phones. And it's not that we wanted to be on our phones; we had nothing else to do. We also played a lot of euchre. We played lots of euchre. We also hung bear bags, which were really fun, surprisingly.
Yeah, can you talk about the process of hanging bear bags and what they are?
So, a bear bag is essentially a bag of all your smellables like toothbrush, food, everything that smells. Those attract bears. And essentially, you're going to hang it high up in a tree. you take 2 trees that, and you're going to throw ropes over, and then you're going to pull a bag up in the middle. It's going to be like, I don't know how it's all up, and so whatnot. And there's multiple ways to get the rope up. As long as you get the rope up and not it stuck, that's the end goal. We got it up. We never got it stuck. And so we had some fun putting up the bear ropes. There's definitely some pictures that I have of us having some fun with the bear ropes. It was definitely fun. And then we had a sister crew from Georgia as well who was with us as well. They definitely needed a lot of help, essentially. They did not know how to tie a bear bag. It was a fun experience teaching them that.
Do you know what trek you're going on for Sea Base?
Scuba.
So what do you do for that one? Because the one I went on was the
Boat.
Key Adventure, whatever it is. We were on the sailboat for 7 days.
So we are going to be at the sea base itself, and we're going to be in the dorms, and we're going to go out in the mornings. We're going to scuba, eat lunch, scuba again. So we're doing scuba diving all day. We do a night dive on like day 9 or something, and we go down and you go diving pretty much all day. It's really fun. And so we had to get training for that and whatnot. It was really fun. One of our training treks, we went to, it was somewhere up in Illinois, and it was near a crashed plane site, or like a plane that had like sunken underwater, so we got to go through the plane and whatnot. That was really cool. It was very cold once you hit about, I think it was like 20 feet, you could definitely feel the temperature just drop. It was like what up here was like warm, like 1 foot down was freezing cold.
What do you think people misunderstand about what it takes to be an Eagle Scout?
That we're just kind of, I think it's like the stereotypical scout, like always outdoors, like kind of like, why aren't you always like something like that, or like, you're not using the knife properly, or like stuff like that. But it's more so like, that's what I think. When they think of scouts, I think they go to stereotypical like, I was like, you didn't follow the 4 rules of the outdoors or something like that. And I've seen those before, and I've been sent a lot of them because I've been scouts.
Do you think that earning Eagle is an ending or a beginning?
It's a both. So obviously it's the ending of starting your Eagle, of getting your Eagle journey, but it's also the start of multiple, way more opportunities, whether it be in jobs or getting your palms as well, that's an award after you get Eagle. Essentially, merit badges on what you have to get. You have to get a certain number of merit badges. It's like 20, 22, something like that.
I don't know.
Okay, it's like 22. 12 of them got to be Eagle required and whatnot. If I'm getting my number wrong, it's been a while. And so it's definitely a start to a new beginning of multiple opportunities. And it's like every 5 merit badges you earn after Eagle, you earn a bronze. It goes bronze, silver, gold, or gold, silver, bronze. I don't know the order. Bronze, silver,
gold.
something like that. And yeah, it's definitely beginning to a lot of new opportunities because you're seen as a leader in the troop. You're held to higher standards once you get Eagle.
What from Scouts are you going to take away in your adult life?
The ability to learn. So it's definitely helped me be more patient with myself and with others, and understanding, like, if I mess up, to understanding and take responsibility for it and learn from my mistakes, because I have been chewed out multiple times before for mistakes I've made before, whether that be in teaching a kid, if I taught it the wrong way, or if I did something that I thought was completely fine and it figured out to be a safety hazard, and learning from that mistake and never making this mistake again.
Do you think that more teens should consider joining Scouts?
I think it's definitely for everyone. It really just depends on your troop, because I know there are kids who are super outdoorsy, super fun, who just want to go outside and do a bunch of camping, and there's other kids who just want to be on their phones all the time, and that's perfectly fine. And Scouts is made for everyone. It's designed for everyone. But there are some things, if you want to get the rank of Eagle, you will have to go camping. You will have to do those challenging things, because being Eagle is not something you can do easily. It's something you will be challenged. You will be mentally, physically challenged as well. It's made for everyone. You can have a fun time as Scouts, whether you just want to be on your phones all the time, or if you just want to go camping in the outdoors all the time.
What are your hot takes on Scouts?
You you should do my hot take. I have a couple hot takes. My first hot take is you should do an equal project that challenges you, but that doesn't break the bank. Or essentially, you shouldn't do easy equal projects. You should do something that is that is challenging, that is outstanding to do. My second hot take is if you're going to be a leader, hold yourself to a higher standard, and not so much as just because you're an Eagle Scout does not make you a leader. And there are definitely people in my troop who are like that, whether because I've seen them just pretend to be just because they're an older scout and they're older than everyone else. They boss people around. They're very, very not gentlemanly, very definition of not a scout. They, if anything, they make scouts look worse, and they make a lot of people associate that person with scouts, and they see scouts as a bad thing, and they don't want their kids in scouts because of what that kid did.
Thank you so much for joining us, Heath.
No problem.
Thanks for listening.
Come back next week to hear all about Hank Taylor and his Special Olympics coaching.